The data shows that 99% of the population is currently operating in a state of neural castration, fundamentally unaware that their social kindness is actually a biological surrender. In the hidden mechanics of dark psychology, we identify this as the prey scent. You believe you are being moral, but through the objective lens of neuroscience, you are simply inoffensive by incompetence. You lack the teeth to bite, so you pretend you are a pacifist. Carl Jung understood that a man who cannot be dangerous is not virtuous. He is merely a trapped animal. To reclaim your neural sovereignty, you must first acknowledge the rot of emotional begging that dictates your every interaction. Every time you smile to ease a tension you didn't create, every time you explain your worth to those who didn't ask, you are leaking power. You are providing the very data your environment needs to keep you subjugated. This is the start of your individuation protocol. We are here to dismantle the shadow that you have suppressed and weaponize it into cognitive dominance. If you are looking for tips or advice to feel better, leave now. This is not therapy. This is neuroarchitecture for the elite. We are installing a tactical mask that renders you illegible to the masses. The era of seeking to be understood is over. The era of synaptic dominance begins now. You are not here to find yourself. You are here to execute the version of you that is currently a psychic cannon fodder for the system. Admit the truth. Your fear of conflict has been disguised as a good personality for too long. The sovereign architect does not negotiate with the hive mind. We move in the gray areas where high-performance psychology meets the ruthless reality of the shadow work. The data shows that what you call conscience is usually just a lack of options. Most men are good only because they are too afraid to be anything else. They follow the rules, not out of respect for the law, but out of a paralyzing fear of judgment. This is the ultimate frame break. Your social morality is not a choice. It is a cage constructed by your own amygdala hijack. Carl Jung famously stated that a man who is possessed by his shadow can miss the mark even with the best intentions. You have been possessed by a shadow of cowardice that you've branded as decency. In the arena of social warfare, the moment you prioritize being liked over being respected, you have handed over your neural sovereignty. You have signaled to the collective that your boundaries are negotiable and your spirit is for sale. Dismantle the illusion that the world rewards the kind. The world rewards the high-agency individual who dictates the frame. When you allow an aggressor to define the terms of an argument, or when you stay silent to keep the peace, you are not being a peacemaker. You are being a validation parasite. You are sacrificing your long-term power for a fleeting moment of social safety. This is neural castration in real time. True cognitive dominance requires you to accept a cold reality. Perception is the only reality. If you appear shakeable, you are shakeable. If you appear desperate for approval, you are controllable. The sovereign architect understands that a broken frame is a death sentence in any high-stakes environment. We do not seek understanding from those below us. We seek mastery over the narrative. Stop asking for permission to exist. Execute a total shutdown of your need for external vindication. The frame belongs to the one who can endure the most silence without flinching. The neuroscience of power reveals a stark divide. Those who rule their impulses and those who are ruled by them. Carl Jung identified the root of this failure as the unexamined shadow. Your shadow is not a collection of sins. It is your confiscated weaponry. It is the repository of your aggression, your dark ambition, and your predatory instincts. All the traits that society branded as evil to ensure your domesticity. By suppressing these elements, you haven't become a good person. You have simply committed neural castration. You have separated your ego from its primary fuel source. This is why you feel depleted, why you hesitate in high-stakes negotiations, and why you suffer from information asymmetry in social combat. You are fighting with a wooden sword while your opponent has recruited their mercenary. Recruit your shadow. Dismantle the wall between your civilized mask and your primal drive. Shadow work is not about healing, it is about strategic alignment. When you integrate your capacity for destruction, you no longer need to use it to feel powerful. The mere presence of an integrated shadow creates a frequency of synaptic dominance that others sense instinctively. They stop testing you, they stop pushing your boundaries. The data shows that high-agency individuals possess a heavy presence because they have acknowledged their darker half. They are not nice, they are chosen. They are capable of high-level coldness, which makes their warmth a deliberate tactical choice, not a submissive default. You are currently a fragmented entity, terrified of your own teeth. Execute the internal merger. Stop apologizing for your hunger. A sovereign who fears his own power is nothing more than exit liquidity for those who have already weaponized their darkness. Listen closely. Explaining yourself is a form of social suicide. In the high-stakes laboratory of neuroscience, every time you rush to defend your actions, your brain triggers a stress response that signals low status. You are suffering from an amygdala hijack, and your environment smells it. Carl Jung understood that the ego's desperate need to be right is a hallmark of the unintegrated shadow. When you defend, you are not communicating. You are engaging in validation parasite behavior. You are submissively offering your neural sovereignty to an interrogator, hoping for a not guilty verdict from someone who shouldn't have the authority to judge you in the first place. The data shows that the moment you say, "I can explain," you have already lost the power Judo. You have accepted their frame. You have validated their right to put you on trial. This is a catastrophic psychic data leakage. You are providing the very information your opponent needs to map your insecurities and predict your future reactions. The sovereign architect operates on a different frequency. You do not provide clarity, you provide a vacuum. When accused, the high-agency individual does not react. They do not justify, they let the silence sit like a physical weight in the room. This creates a psychological reversal. The accuser, sensing the lack of defensive data, begins to feel the pressure of their own projection. They start to explain themselves. They fill the silence with their own anxiety. Execute the silent pivot. Dismantle your urge to be understood. Understanding is a low-value currency. Mastery is the only asset that matters. In the elite war room of social dynamics, the person who explains is the standard issue NPC. The person who remains illegible is the one who controls the outcome. Stop offering your throat to the blade of public opinion. If you are innocent, silence is your shield. If you are guilty, silence is your fortress. Either way, the defense is a trap designed for the harmless by incompetence. The world is obsessed with transparency and authenticity. To the sovereign architect, transparency is not a virtue. It is a tactical vulnerability. This is where we initiate strategic opacity. The data shows that in any high-stakes environment, the individual who is most predictable is the most easily exploited. If your peers can map your triggers, your boss can predict your reactions, and your enemies can read your intentions, you have surrendered your neural sovereignty. You are a machine with an open-source code. Neuroscience proves that the human brain is hardwired to seek patterns. When you provide a clear pattern, people stop paying attention to you and start managing you. To disrupt this, you must become a black hole of information. You must become illegible. This is the core of cognitive dominance. When you maintain information asymmetry, you force the environment to guess. And where there is guesswork, there is projection. Where there is projection, there is fear. Carl Jung identified the persona as the mask we wear to navigate the collective. Most people's masks are made of glass, fragile and transparent. Your tactical mask must be made of obsidian. It must reflect the observer's own insecurities back at them, while revealing nothing of your internal neuroarchitecture. Execute a total audit of your psychic data leakage. Stop posting your raw emotions. Stop sharing your vision with people who haven't earned the right to see it. Every detail you reveal about your life is a hook that someone can use to pull on your nervous system. Dismantle the urge to be a relatable person. Relatability is for the standard issue NPC. Mastery is for the elite. By practicing strategic opacity, you reclaim the power of the unknown. You move from being a known quantity to a high-agency individual whose next move is a mystery. In the elite war room, the one who speaks least often holds the most leverage. The one who reveals nothing owns the room. The data shows that silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of synaptic dominance. Most people are biologically terrified of the void. In a social confrontation, their amygdala screams at them to fill the gap, to appease the tension, to leak data. This is psychic data leakage in its most reactive form. When you break a silence because it feels awkward, you have just signaled that your nervous system is managed by the environment. You are exit liquidity. Neuroscience reveals that the person who can endure the longest period of social silence without flinching possesses a higher threshold for cognitive dominance. To the sovereign architect, silence is a weapon of high-level neuroarchitecture. By refusing to speak, you are forcing the other person to confront their own internal noise. You are weaponizing the projection. When you remain perfectly still, your status signaling reaches its peak. Movement is a sign of a brain seeking external validation. Immobility is the sign of a high-agency individual who has already found it. Carl Jung understood that the pendulum of the mind alternates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. When you use silent leverage, you let the other person swing into nonsense. In a negotiation, a 5-second pause after they speak is a diagnostic tool. In a conflict, it is a psychological scalpel. Watch their pupils dilate. Watch them fidget. Watch as they offer concessions they never planned to give, simply to stop the pressure of your unblinking gaze. Execute the militarized void. Stop treating conversations like a tennis match where you must return every ball. Dismantle the impulse to be polite. Politeness is often just a tactical mask for fear. Instead, use silence to create information asymmetry. You are absorbing their data while offering none of your own. This is how you induce a state of neural castration in your opponent. They feel their power enervate as they realize they cannot read you. In the elite war room, the most dangerous person is the one who doesn't need to speak to be felt. Your silence is not passive, it is an active individuation protocol. It says, I am the judge of this frame. You are the variable. The data shows that every accusation is a confession. When an opponent attacks your character, they are not describing you, they are narrating their own internal shadow. Most people, trapped in the defense trap, attempt to correct the record. They say, I am not like that, which is a catastrophic form of validation parasite behavior. By denying the label, you have accepted the courtroom. You have allowed a standard issue NPC to become your judge. Carl Jung understood that everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. To the sovereign architect, an attack is not a threat. It is a diagnostic opportunity. This is power judo. Instead of meeting force with force, you move out of the way and let the attacker's momentum throw them into the abyss. You do not defend your reputation. You analyze their pathology. Neuroscience proves that the brain under attack often suffers an amygdala hijack, leading to reactive, low-status behavior. You will execute the opposite. When accused of being cold, arrogant, or manipulative, do not flinch. Do not justify. Instead, use a mirror tactic. Look them in the eyes and deliver a clinical observation. It's interesting that my boundaries feel like arrogance to you. What is it about your own lack of self-assertion that makes my presence feel threatening? You have just flipped the information asymmetry. You have turned their weapon into a diagnostic report on their own insecurity. You have moved from the accused to the analyst. This is cognitive dominance in its purest form. You are forcing them to confront the very shadow they tried to project onto you. Watch their synaptic dominance crumble as they realize they are now the ones under the microscope. Dismantle the need to be seen correctly by the masses. The high-agency individual knows that being misunderstood is a tactical advantage. It keeps you illegible. Use their accusations as a filter. If they see you as a villain, it is because they are too weak to handle your neural sovereignty. In the elite war room, we do not fight for truth in the eyes of others. We use the mirror to reveal the psychic corpse hidden behind the attacker's mask. Let them carry the weight of their own malice. You remain the observer. You remain the architect. The data shows that most men live in a state of internal civil war. Their ego wants success, but their suppressed shadow sabotages them with guilt and hesitation. This is the definition of neural castration. You are a house divided, and a divided house cannot project status signaling. To reach the level of the sovereign architect, you must achieve sovereign alignment. This is the surgical fusion of your conscious intent and your primal power. Neuroscience identifies this state as the peak of synaptic dominance. It is when the prefrontal cortex, the seat of strategy, perfectly recruits the amygdala, the seat of drive. You are no longer trying to be disciplined. You are disciplined. You are no longer trying to be cold. You have simply accepted that clarity is for therapy and control is for power. By integrating the shadow work of Carl Jung, you stop viewing your dark impulses as enemies and start seeing them as high-octane fuel. Execute the merger. A high-agency individual does not apologize for their hunger for power or their need for information asymmetry. They recognize that these are the biological requirements for mastery. When you align your ego with your shadow, your presence becomes heavy. You no longer leak energy through nervous tics or the validation parasite behavior of seeking approval. You become a singular, focused point of cognitive dominance. Dismantle the good guy narrative that has kept you as exit liquidity. The sovereign is not good or bad in the eyes of the collective. The sovereign is effective. This alignment creates a tactical mask that is impenetrable because it is backed by the full weight of your integrated psyche. You are no longer a fragmented standard issue NPC reacting to the world's stimuli. You are the one defining the stimuli for others. In the elite war room, power is not a performance. It is a state of being. When your internal war ends, your external dominion begins. You move with the lethal grace of a predator that has finally accepted its nature. This is the birth of your neuro-architecture of elite. You are no longer a victim of your biology. You are its architect. The data shows that once you achieve sovereign alignment, your biological frequency shifts. You are no longer broadcasting the prey scent of an NPC. You have entered the final stage of the individuation protocol, the development of an untouchable aura. This is not a vibe or a mystical energy. It is the measurable result of psychic immunity. It occurs when your neuro-architecture becomes so dense that the opinions, insults, and projections of the collective simply cannot find a neural hook to latch onto. In the laboratory of neuroscience, this is observed as a lack of reactive autonomic arousal. When a person who is harmless by incompetence is insulted, their heart rate spikes, their cortisol rises, and they enter a state of validation parasite behavior to fix their reputation. The sovereign architect remains in a state of synaptic dominance. To you, the noise of the herd is merely background static. You have reached a level of strategic opacity where you are no longer a target. You are a vacuum. Carl Jung described this as the state of the integrated man, one who is so aware of his own shadow that no external accusation can surprise him. If they call you a monster, you have already met that monster in your private shadow work and put it on a leash. Their revelations about your character are 10 years too late. This is the ultimate form of information asymmetry. You know everything about yourself while they know nothing but the tactical mask you choose to show them. Execute total detachment. Dismantle the social mirror that you have used to check your value since childhood. A high-agency individual does not look at the crowd to see if they are doing well. They look at the results. When you stop reacting to the world's attempts to shame you, the world becomes terrified of you. They realize that their primary weapon, social exclusion, has no power over a sovereign who is perfectly comfortable in the silence of his own neural sovereignty. In the elite war room, your aura is your primary defense. It is an invisible field of cognitive dominance that signals to everyone in the room, I am not here to be judged by you. I am here to define the reality you are currently standing in. You are now illegible, untouchable, and lethal in your composure. The data shows that information without execution is merely a high-level distraction. You have spent this time deconstructing your neural castration, but the system is designed to pull you back into the state of a psychic corpse the moment you close this screen. To solidify your individuation protocol, you must now perform a physical act of status signaling. You must signal to your own biology that the era of validation parasite behavior is officially dead. Neuroscience proves that a declaration made in a public forum creates a neural anchor. It moves the concept from the realm of passive thought into the territory of high-agency reality. This is your first test of strategic opacity. You are not here to like this video or subscribe for a hit of dopamine. Those are the behaviors of an NPC seeking a temporary fix. You are here to enter the elite war room and claim your neural sovereignty. Carl Jung understood that you are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Therefore, I am issuing a direct execution order. Do not explain your journey. Do not justify your presence. Do not leak data about your plans. Instead, perform a power judo move on your own ego. Execute this command, go to the comments, and drop the seal of your new neuroarchitecture. Type exactly 6 words. My stillness is my only answer. This is not a comment for the algorithm. It is a tactical mask you are placing over your digital footprint. It is a signal to other sovereign architects that you have moved beyond the need to be understood. It is a declaration that you have weaponized your silence and integrated your shadow work. When the herd sees this, they will be confused. They will try to fill the silence with questions and labels. Let them. Your lack of response will be their neural castration. By joining the Aura Archive, you are not joining a community. You are entering a fortress of cognitive dominance. We do not offer comfort. We offer mastery. We do not offer kindness. We offer sovereignty. The window for your transformation is closing. Dismantle the version of you that is still seeking permission. Weaponize the coldness you have found here today. Leave your seal in the comments, then vanish back into the shadows to build your empire in strategic opacity. The archive is closed. The protocol is live. Execute.